So my arms reach out to you for love.
Hello and welcome to the first video edition of Cry Me a Torch Song for 2017. My name's Piers Ford and that was a little bit of You're My World from Mary Wilson's latest album, Pop Deluxe. It's a selection of songs closely associated with those great British lady singers of the 1960s. And even as I say that, you know, I think how glib it is to define somebody by the decade in which they happen to have had their greatest hits. It's as if everything that has followed counts for nothing, and that clearly can't be the case. I was reminded of this quite recently when Moule, Mary's TV producer husband, posted a little bit of footage from her 1992 gigs to Ronnie Scott's. And that's a season I remember really well because it was the first time that I discovered just how skillful she is as a singer. That elegant phrasing, the clarity of her vocals, the storytelling that she brings to every song. And I'd probably been just as guilty as everybody else of putting her in a little box marked 1980s pop star. Seeing her perform back then was memorable, an eye-opener, and it's been a real pleasure to see how her career has evolved since then through a series of very polished albums, which began with that classic rhythm romance, as well as the gigs in which she generates such a strong rapport with her audience. The great thing about Pop Deluxe is that it isn't just a tribute album. Mary reinvents these songs to the extent that you actually forget their origins and you really hear them in a new way. The arrangements give them space to breathe, and Mary's attention to the detail of the lyrics with such an assured purity of tone provides a journey into a different place. It's an album that yields a little more with each listen, and I'd like to play now just a snippet from her take on The Look of Love, a song rightly and indelibly connected with Dusty Springfield, but listen to how Mary Wilson transforms something rather familiar into a delicate, subtle reimagining.
The look of love is in your eyes, the look your heart can't disguise, the look of love is saying so much more than words could ever say.
Well, from something familiar, or perhaps not quite so familiar, I'm wondering if Barb Jungr had a sixth sense rush when she was contemplating her new album, Shelter from the Storm. It was released just before the accumulation of events that kind of shook the comfortable, superficially, obviously comfortable world to its roots in 2016. But it's almost as if she could see them coming in this album and wanted to arm us with some resilience and reassurance and frankly, optimism in the face of these rising tides of division and suspicion. So much about it seems prescient. Ironically, I also received my copy during the week that David Bowie's death was announced. And that makes Life on Mars, which is given the Barb Jungr treatment here. Its inclusion seems also rather prescient, and of course it can only have been coincidental. But I think what that shows is that artists had already started to explore the potential of Bowie's songs long before his demise, and that they are now naturally taking on a life of their own beyond his interpretations. This album also includes a few surprises. So the opening track, Bali High from South Pacific, and there's a burst of Something's Coming from West Side Story. But don't worry, Barb Jungr is not going all show tunes on us. Each of those is given her own distinctive treatment. And that kind of deft vocal reinvention which resonates around the core melody, that trademark of hers is always there. For my money, this album is probably her best to date, and there have been several contenders, but her gift for spinning a story out of a song that just then hangs there in the air in front of you, tempered with dashes of rage or empowerment, is absolutely present. It's never been better exploited in the studio, in my opinion. She's set out to make an album with American jazz musicians, and she's found supreme collaborators in the pianist Lawrence Hopgood and their co-producer Callum Malcolm. So here's a snippet from a younger Hopgood track, Stars Lazy But Shining, which I think showcases the new directions in which this album seems to be sending her.
Dear, I jump in the rivers, bounding and leaping. The vines are clinging to stone, caressing and creeping. Lie on the grass, seasons pass. Lie on the grass, seasons pass. Stars lazy but shining.
There's a musical link between Barb Jungr, who we've just been listening to, and my next choice. And that link is the pianist and composer Simon Wallace, who has been Barb's regular accompanist for several years. And he also happens to be the husband of Sarah Moule, whose album Songs from the Floating World centres on his settings of the poems of the late, great Fran Landesman. This album's been out for a little while, but I wanted to bring it to your attention because particularly I think at this time of year, it's just great to hear something that's got an almost cleansing, refreshing impact. The album's expansive, the arrangements are spacious and sparse and pristine, and they really allow Moule to weave her vocals around them with consummate skill and pull out the complexity and often the playfulness of Landesman's lyrics, which themselves are always throwing out new challenges and fresh temptations. It's an album I return to again and again for its astringent clarity. It swings with ease when the tempo is up, but equally there are moments of wistfulness and contemplation that allow you pause for thought.
Don't fall in love with me, that wouldn't do. I couldn't ever be faithful to you. Don't fall in love with me, I'm no damn good. You'd only lose your way in my neighborhood. I'm not conceited, but I got some idea of what I'm worth. You'll be defeated if you try to bring me down to earth.
Well, that was a warning from Sarah Moule, don't fall in love with me. So I never really think of myself as a fan particularly of country music, But there are some country singers, Patsy Cline, Tammy Wynette, Dolly Parton, of course, and Emmylou Harris, who I'm always delighted to listen to, because for me their voices transcend any genre, as indeed does their songwriting craft. Now I think I'm going to be adding this lady Sarah Darling to that mix. Her new album Dream Country couldn't just be called another country record. It's a mix really of string-laden delicate ballads, epic sweeps of Americana, and some earthy blues. You know, The Devil and Halley's Comet, they both get a name check. Sarah Darling avoids the slightly bombastic cliches of so much contemporary commercial country music. She handles her melodies with sophisticated restraint. I'd like to finish with a short extract from a charming chanson on this album, a love song to Montmartre. And I'll look forward to bringing you some more thoughts on new albums next month. In the meantime, do please get in touch with any review suggestions that you'd like to offer. Goodbye for now, and thanks for watching.
Just before the dawn, when everyone's asleep, the cafes and the streets are empty. The greatest love affair is taking place. Birds all serenade the love that's being made between the sunrise and the city. Look at me, laying